Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and this is Elite Dangerous. Now I'm still out here in the NGC 7822 Nebula, and that's because there is so much to explore out here. It's one of the more interesting areas I've been to, and I still am very impressed with this rather fast spinning star here, and I'm going to get a little bit closer to it and no doubt make myself feel a little bit dizzy. Yeah, that is fast. I'm tempted to try this out in the Oculus Rift, although I really probably shouldn't. Let's try and spin the ship around a little bit, because this is making me feel a little bit odd. So yeah, don't do this. I hope it's not putting any of you off watching the video. Let's move up a little bit and get away from that. So yes, I'm still out here in NGC 7822 and there's a lot of stuff to see out here, so I basically plan on fully mapping this area. I doubt that will extend to going as far as having full detailed surface scans of every stellar object out here, but I do want to do a discovery scan and therefore have a map of every system out here. And as you can see, I'm still in this system here with the black hole. These parts right over the other side of the system are still undiscovered, or unexplored should I say, and I have fully done a detailed surface scan on every other planetary object or stellar object over this side of the system. So I'm going to head over here to the black hole and have a good old look at it. I think it's around about 120 or 180,000 light seconds away, so it's going to take a bit of a while to get over there. So as I said, the plan is to map out all the blue-white stars and get some system maps for all of them in this nebula, in this particular region. There's a few reasons for that. One is because I'm a bit of a completionist and just would really like to have all that information. Another reason is that I noticed that, as with a number of other nebulas in the game, one of the systems here does require a permit. So that implies that at some point this area is likely to be important in the game, and it would be quite handy, wouldn't it, to have all the system maps for that ahead of time. So while I'm here, I'm going to get that. And it really does help that this whole region really is beautiful. Even if it is in a rather sparse way, the nebula itself is quite dark and there really aren't many stars in the sky out here. And of course the nebula is a little bit brighter away from the stars. So here we are coming up on the black hole, and the detailed surface scanner hasn't kicked in yet, so it's likely to be quite a small one. You can sometimes scan these from quite a distance away depending on their mass and size, but I'm now under 30 light seconds, 20 light seconds, and you can see the black hole starting to take form on here. They are actually translucent, effectively completely invisible, but the way you can visually see them is as a form of distortion. Look how the stars on the opposite side of the black hole are actually showing upon the surface of the black hole as a distortion field. Well, this has actually caught me out before, and I've ended up crashing into the black hole due to the fact that judging distance to it can be a little difficult, and fortunately they don't have such effects as sucking you right in and therefore becoming inescapable, and they don't have effects such as time dilation, which would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? What they do have is the same effect as suns. They cause your ship to overheat rather rapidly and can be a bit difficult to escape. Look at how, I don't know if you can see that on the video here because YouTube compression might ruin the effect, but I can see the nebula folding around the distortion, and it actually looks like coloured mist passing above my ship. And again you can see the stars of the immediate area distorting around the spherical object of the black hole. So that's pretty much how black holes look currently in the game, and I'm not going to say I'm disappointed with that, because I'm not. It's still an interesting effect, and they're worth coming out to see, but there's not really going to be any variation at all from one black hole to another. But I have heard that these are pretty much just placeholder effects currently, and again there's that distortion effect along the nebula. It's actually making me wonder if I'm heading away from the black hole. No, the black hole's still up there. That's it. I was worried for a second I was going to crash into the thing. But yes, as I was saying, apparently these are still placeholder effects, with full representations of black holes on the way soon. So I went ahead and explored the remaining stars in this system, and therefore the area is now completely mapped. There's quite a nice area. There's quite a large amount of stars here, so I'm glad I went ahead and did that, but I'm not entirely sure if it's going to hold any credit value. But nonetheless, it's done. So having a look here, there's a whole bunch of blue-white stars, and as I said, I want to map each one of these. I haven't counted up exactly how many there are here yet, but I estimate it's somewhere in the region of 70 or so, so it's going to be quite a few jumps and quite a lot of scans. So let's get going to the next system and have a look what we can find there. One thing I haven't found yet, and I really am on a quest to find, is an Earth-like planet out here. It may be completely unlikely and totally unreasonable for me to hope to find one of them, due to the nature of the stars and the system of configurations out here. There's a huge amount of stars here, which no doubt means the area is very, very hot and full of a ton of radiation. Let's get scanning and see what we can find. So it's possible that number of stars here would preclude there being any type of Earth-like planets here at all. Right. Oh, look at this. This is quite unusual, isn't it? Two black holes together with a gas giant, or smallish gas giant, stuck between them. Now that would be nice to have a look at, if those black holes are actually close together. If they're spread far apart, obviously it wouldn't look any different to any other system. But I think I will I'll head over there and have a bit of a look. So a small system, but certainly an interesting one. So that was quite a distance. It's taken a fair while to get here. I actually decided to head toward the gas giant first, in the hopes that it was actually squished between two black holes, but the black holes are a number of thousands of light seconds away, so seeing any spectacular interstellar type event was not to be. Now I don't know what's actually going on here with the draw distance. You may have noticed that the planet just pretty much popped in once I got within a certain range of it, and that's a fairly recent change. It's not something that used to happen. A bit of a shame, as it always used to be very nice to be able to see the planets from a long way away. So this is a normal looking gas giant. It's somewhat different seeing it out here against the backdrop of a nebula, but there's no black holes that are immediately next door to it to make it look any different. I would like to have seen the sort of distortion effects a black hole might cause when it's near the planet. Now I want to have a quick look at the draw distance settings here, because, oh, that's new, 3D focal distance. Okay, that doesn't have any effect on the Oculus Rift, so it's just regular 3D setting. But yeah, I want to see the draw distance. Maybe it's down low. Model draw distance, it's as high as it's going to go, and there's no other setting here that's going to affect those planets popping in. So I really don't know why they're popping in quite like that. It's quite a shame. Ever onwards then. Let's have a look at the next system. So I've got a map for that one. I haven't got a map for that one. Let's go there. One thing that I have repeatedly noticed here is that most of the stars out here are very young. A few of them are just in the double digits. A couple are only a few million years old. The oldest I've seen out here are literally in the hundreds of millions of years. I haven't yet seen any out here in the billions of years like our own star. So that pretty much means the entire region is very, very young. Now, even though these areas are very young, I suspect they may also be highly volatile. And the reason I say that is because there are a lot of black holes out here. So I suspect the region is changing very, very fast. Okay, one more scan on the way. There we go, 7 new objects found. So fairly small system. Let's have a look. And again, another black hole and a load of sun types and some pretty large gas giants. That one there looks huge and it has some pretty nice cloud effects on it. And let's move on with the mapping of this area. A lot of the areas out here so far have been pretty small, but there's also some quite large areas out here as well. Let's see what category this one is going to fall into. 57 objects, so that's actually one of the largest I've found so far. Is it going to fulfill my quest of finding an Earth-like planet out here is the question. A load of suns, some red dwarfs, some brown dwarfs, a lot of gas giants, and what look to be some rocky planets. Now that's rather interesting, isn't it? Look at the small planet there. It's probably a rocky planet with a ring around it. Probably be interesting to take a closer look at that one. We got a lot more rocky planets. Now this looks a little bit interesting. It seems like it may have water on it. One to come back to. It's probably quite a long way over there. I don't really want to spend too much time going over there, as it would be fairly difficult to locate that one moon amongst the many planets around here. That one looks quite interesting though, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tempted to have a look at that one. I think what we'd do is head toward that very small planet with the rings around it. I haven't seen anything like that yet. So this took a fair while to find. Again, you may have just noticed the pop in there, but look at the distance between the planet and the rings. The rings aren't particularly large, but they are quite a huge distance away from the planet. Looking forward to see what this is going to look like, and I'm not going to make the mistake I made the last time you saw me do this, where I crashed headlong into the rings and cracked my canopy. I really don't want any more cracks in there, and I certainly don't want it to shatter. Let's see how far out from the asteroids we jump. Quite close. So you can see the blue-white sun there off in the distance. We are quite a long way from the thing. But look at that. That planet is a long way away. There's actually another sun there as well, isn't there? I wonder if that's the main sun, or just one of the other closer by ones. But yeah, look how far away that planet looks. It really does highlight just how vast these asteroid fields and these ring systems actually are, doesn't it? In a lot of cases, these places are much larger in radius than the orbit between the Moon and Earth. So that just gives some idea of the amount of area that one can explore. What I really liked in the initial Kickstarter pledge was that Frontier showed off some concept art with the asteroid space station hidden out among an asteroid belt. Now imagine discovering something like that out here, a hidden pirate base or a hidden smuggler's base or something like that. It'd be very much like finding a needle in a haystack or a very specific grain of sand on a beach. But it would be an awesome find, wouldn't it? Maybe something for the future. Here's another one of the larger systems. This one had 67 bodies, I believe, or it might have been 62. But again, it's all gas giants, and unfortunately none of these moons or planets is an Earth-like. But hopefully there's got to be a planet out here like that somewhere. Maybe this time. We can do with a little bit of fuel scooping here. One thing that is rather nice is that all these blue-white stars are completely scoopable. 6 objects. What can they be? Oh, this looks promising. We've got a yellow star, and that is possibly an Earth-like. These, I suspect, are high metal content planets. One thing for certain, they all seem to have atmospheres on them. Ooh, maybe I've just completed my quest then for an Earth-like mission. Let's have a closer look at that one. Oh, I don't know. It may be a high metal content planet. These ones certainly are. And like I say, they do all seem to have atmospheres on them. It's possible that first one then is an Earth-like. Let's go over there and have a look. Either way, these are very nice discoveries. 271,000 light seconds. Well, that's going to take quite a while. Fortunately for you, you're not going to have to sit there and wait for that, as we can jump straight to it. So this one here turned out to be a high metal content planet, as I suspected, and yes, it does have an atmosphere on it. Look at the clouds there. Rather nice looking, but it's no Earth. But still, it holds some monetary value in terms of the amount of credits it should get me when I sell this information to Stellar Cartographics, or Universal Cartographics should I say. Right, another 4,000 light seconds. This one is a bit closer to the yellow sun that's out this way, and if I remember from looking at the map, that was the one that looked most like an Earth planet. Although I do suspect that the chances are pretty high that it's going to be another high metal content planet. But even still, finding a system out this way with 5 such planets like this all in a row, that's a pretty remarkable discovery, and I'm very happy with it. Well, we're getting closer, and it's clearly a very small planet, as the discovery scanner hasn't actually kicked in yet. So just over 100 light seconds to go. I'm hoping that at any minute now my ship actually decides to scan this planet. Can't see anything there. I would normally expect to at least see a faint star-like dot, but for some reason that doesn't seem to be happening at all out here. I don't know if that's something that has been changed in the game, or if it's simply down to being inside this rather dark nebula area where there really isn't much light at all. Anyway, okay, it's starting to scan, but I've accelerated up a bit too fast, so I'm going to shoot right past it. So let's decelerate a bit, get away from the gravitational pull of that planet, and aim back toward it. And even at this distance, I can barely see it. It's a very small little dot on the screen, and I can't really determine its colour at the moment. Looks blue. But yep, another high metal content planet. So a little... oh, it changed from blue to yellow. Something very odd going on here. Okay, so we've got one more high metal content planet with an atmosphere. I'm actually hoping that eventually we'd find some sort of outposts out here in these kind of places. I mean, when you consider it, we've got a massive nebula here that is many light years across, and there's not a whole lot of resources out here, so discovering planets such as these would be quite a rarity, and you'd suspect that businesses may want to set up an outpost out here of some type in order to exploit those resources. Okay, so scanning starting a little bit further away this time, or actually it's around about the same, isn't it? What is it going to be? It's going to be a high metal content planet, just you wait. You can tell really once you've done enough exploring and you have a look around. Yep, there it is, high metal content planet. You kind of get used to what the planets look like when you see them on the system map. You have a pretty good idea what it's going to be. The only one I was a little bit unsure of was the one that was closest to the star, because that did look a little bit like a Earth-like planet. And again, there seems to be that little lighting issue going on here where the planet's not actually showing up what it is until I get closer. I'm going to actually test that out and slow right down and creep up upon the planet, because I want to see what's going on there and at what point it changes from being this rather odd blue colour to whatever colour the planet is actually going to be. And there you go, you can see that change occurring there. It's quite sudden, between 0.89 and 0.88 light seconds. Let's head in for a closer look then. Rather red and orangish in appearance, looks a little bit like how I would imagine Mars to look if it had clouds. And probably fairly small. We're 20,000 kilometres from it at the moment. Roughly the entire circumference of Earth, more or less. These planets actually look quite nice, don't they? I love the lighting effects on them as you get round to the Terminator there, the shadow side, and the rather thin layer of atmosphere it's got. You know what? I think I might actually get in closer there and park up in orbit. Where should we go? I want to keep away from the dark side of the planet and keep around this side where it's a little bit more interesting. Not really a lot of features on the planet itself though. There's some impact lines there from where an asteroid's probably hit the planet at some point in the past. But other than that, not a whole lot going on down there. I've also been kind of hoping that at some point we'll be able to get a little bit closer to these planets. It is true that way back in early premium beta we couldn't get even as close as I am here. The closest you could get to a planet was quite a lot further back than this, and as the planets improved over time, so too did our ability to get closer to them. The most recent newsletter actually showed some improvements to the gas giants, and they did look a lot better. And again, hopefully with that will come the ability to get a little bit closer again to them. I mean, when you think about the sheer size of some of the gas giants out there, they really should seem totally immense when you're parked above them in orbit like this. And there we go. I think this is a good place to park up, and I'm going to have a little look at the system map and show you those planets that we've discovered in this system. So we got the usual blue-white star that's out here in the NGC 7822 Nebula, along with the yellow star, and here are the 5 high metal content planet. The one that I thought might be Earth-like actually has a sulfur dioxide atmosphere, so rather unpleasant. And these ones are carbon dioxide, and although that's no good for us humans, it's a little bit better than a sulfur dioxide atmosphere, that's for sure. So 5 high metal content planets. I would have thought that should be worth at least a little bit at the interstellar cartographics. A nice little discovery all in all. I'm still hopeful though that there's an Earth-like planet out here somewhere. Let's have a look to see how many stars there are left to map round here. Now I've mapped a good portion of them already. Everything in that direction I've still yet to do. That's the direction I'm heading in, and this is the direction I've come from. And all of these pretty much are done. I will do a quick pass later on just to make sure I haven't missed anything, but for now that's where we stand, and you can see they go all the way back to the other side of the nebula. So really the thing that remains now is deciding where to head next, and I think that is likely to be over that way toward the Heart Nebula and the Soul Nebula, and the journey toward there will be happening in the next episode. But those look like rather interesting objects, and of course they are getting toward the outer rim of the galaxy, which is my ultimate destination on this particular journey out. So I think that's it for this episode. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. This has been Obsidian Ant, signing off.